just gradually settling into this shape, starting to pay attention to your breath, starting to tune in with what's going on in your mind. And then really paying attention to the ebb and flow of your breath, and noticing what parts of your breath feel long and easy and full, and what parts maybe feel a little more challenged. So if you notice that part of your breath is a little more shallow, or a little more challenging, a little shorter, you can turn your attention to that shorter phase of breath, and you can invite it to lengthen and match the longer. And sometimes just by shifting your attention, that's all it takes to invite more space into your breath. So gradually moving into this longer and deeper breath. And when it feels right to you, you can make your way into an Ujjayi Pranayama. So letting your breath whisper at the back of your throat, consciously creating a little bit of regulation, shall we say, at the back of the throat, using the back of your throat as a valve to regulate the flow of breath, to create a little soft sound. And give yourself the chance to lengthen your breath enough and find the breath support that we can use the breath to thread our poses together. So breathing with this audible sound, let's continue to lengthen and see if we can even break it into 3 parts. So with your next inhalation, imagine that you can fill your torso with breath from the bottom of your pelvis to about your navel. And then pause your breath for a moment. And then keep inhaling from your navel to about the middle of your rib cage or the tips of your shoulder blades. And then pause for a moment. And then keep inhaling and take your breath all the way to your chest and shoulders and upper back. And pause on full. And you can exhale the top 1/3. Exhale the middle 1/3. Exhale completely empty. You can inhale the bottom 1/3. Inhale the middle 1/3. Exhale, fill all the way up to the top. We'll exhale top. Exhale middle. Exhale completely empty. Last round, inhale the bottom. Inhale the middle. Inhale, fill all the way to the top. Exhale top. Exhale middle. Exhale completely empty. Let's continue to breathe with that much length and fullness and awareness, but we'll smooth out the pauses now. So inhaling to completely fill your torso with breath. And then smoothly exhaling to completely empty. And maintaining that whisper sound. So somewhere in your next couple of breaths, find your way to sitting on your sit bones if you happen to be kneeling so that you can release your feet. And you will now interlace your right fingers with your left toes. I'll see if I can get my lovely assistant to shift over a little bit so I can show you what I'm talking about. Excuse me, Cora. Good girl. So we want to take right fingers, kind of interlace them with your left toes. So work them in there. If you have the luxury of 2 functional hands, you can use the other hand to help your fingers. So you're getting a nice stretch in our toes, and then you can cup your hand around the ball of your foot and circle around a little. You can circle around one way, circle around the other. And we'll pause, work our fingers a little bit deeper if there's more space to work with. Sometimes that little warm-up is enough to let you stretch slightly deeper. Then we'll again circle around one way, circle around the other. And you can release this side with your toes, maybe point and flex a few times. Might be interesting to compare sides. So if you reach your feet out in front of you, maybe point and flex, and you may notice that one foot moves a little farther than the other. So let's see if we can even that out. You can take Right foot out in front. Try to intersperse your left fingers in between. We'll see how well I do here. Working fingers in between toes. And you can kind of cup your hand around and we'll circle. You can circle your foot around one way. You can circle your foot around the other. If you've got a little more space to work with, you could try tucking your fingers in a little deeper, maybe getting more of a stretch in the ball of your foot and in your toes. And we'll again circle around one way, circle around the other. And finally, you can release your fingers from in between your toes. We can again reach our legs up, point and flex a few times, maybe circle ankles. And from this seated position now, let's take our legs out into a wide V. We'll take them out to about a 90-degree angle or so, maybe a little bit farther. And just take a moment here to activate your legs. So you can reach out through your heels, activate your quads, maybe even lift your heels off the floor. Take your heels back down, reach out through the balls of your feet. Just see if that creates a little more space in your hips. And then from here, we can start to hinge slightly forward. And it does not have to be very deep yet. I'm already feeling a stretch, so I may just hang out right here. If even taking your torso forward feels like a little bit much, perfectly reasonable to put your hands behind you and use that little bit of leverage to tip yourself forward. Just kind of invite some space into inner thighs and invite some space into the backs of the thighs. Invite some space into vertebrae. We'll take one more exhalation, melting to this forward fold, and you can inhale to work your way upright. Let's kind of roll around in our hips now. So you can rock over to one sit bone and forward, over to the other sit bone and back. Getting a little bit of fluid motion in your hips, and maybe it even becomes fluid motion in your spine. You get that vertebra slide on vertebra. The circles can be as dramatic as you like. They can be as subtle as you like. Finding movement that feels good to you. Beautiful. And then we can reverse the direction, taking the circles around the other way. We'll spiral our way back to the center and take this through a little mini vinyasa. So with your next inhalation, I invite you to reach both arms up by your ears. You're rooting down through your sitting bones. You're reaching your hands up. As you exhale, you'll take your right hand to the floor, just to the outside of your right knee. Reach your left hand way over to the right side of the room. Lovely. As you inhale now, you can turn and face your right leg. And as you exhale, you'll bow over the right leg. You'll inhale, let your spine get long, walk to the center. And as you exhale, you'll walk around to the left and bow over your left leg. You can inhale, lift yourself halfway up. As you exhale, you'll turn and take your right arm up and overhead. Reach your right hand towards the left side of the room. Your inhalation reaches both hands up overhead, and we'll move through the same sequence, this time moving left first. Exhaling, you'll bend to the left, reach through your right hand. Inhale, spine gets long, turn towards your left leg. Exhale, bow over your left leg. Inhale to lift tall and walk your hands through the center. As you exhale, walk all the way around to the right and bow over your right leg. You can inhale, let your spine get long. Exhale, find the side bend, reaching left hand to the right side of the room. We'll inhale, reach up. Let's go one more time to each side. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, spine long, turn to face your right leg. Exhale, bow over your right leg. You can inhale and lift, walk through center. Exhale all the way around to the left, bow over your left leg. We'll inhale to get long. Exhale to your side bend, right arm up and overhead. Inhale to rise. You can exhale, bring your hands down to the outside of your knees and draw your legs in towards each other. Give them a little help. You can rock your toes side to side. You can shake your legs out. And eventually we'll shift to one hip. Swing our feet back behind us. And you'll flex your feet and tuck your toes. Try to get the inner edges of your feet in contact. You might even reach back and press your heels towards each other as you sit back onto your heels. You can reach back with your hands, get each of your toes connected into the floor. We'll kind of hang out here for a few breaths. While we hang out here, stretching out our feet, let's take a right arm out to the side, palm up, reach your arm up, and then bend your elbow, hand towards the base of your neck or the middle of your upper back. This might be enough stretch. If you want a little more, left hand can encourage your right elbow back and towards the midline. Nice. We can inhale and release this. We'll take the left arm into external rotation and up. Bend your elbow, hand towards the middle of your upper back. This might be enough, or you can take your left elbow back and towards the midline, maybe softening front ribs in a little bit. Nice. Let's inhale and release that. You can exhale, walk forward. I'm sure your toes will be more than happy to come out of the stretch. You can release them, give them a wiggle. It might even feel good to pat the tops of your feet down onto the floor. All right, let's take our toes to point back now. Again, maybe inner ankles, inner heels touching, sitting back on your heels. This time, consider leaning back into your hands. So we're stretching out the tops of our feet and ankles, maybe shins. You could even bend your elbows a little here. You could even try floating your knees slightly if that feels okay. Nice. So from here, we can rock forward. I have one more really delightful one for you. I think Paula knows this one. We're going to cross our feet and take the top of the left foot into the arch of the right. The top of the left foot into the arch of the right. Set your feet down. Set your hips down. And this can sometimes be a little intense. So if you find yourself sort of flinching away from it, it's reasonable to lean a little forward or even stand up on your knees if you need to. If it's reasonable though, try to settle your shoulders back over your hips. Try to let your weight drop into your feet. Receive the pressure of your left foot into the arch of your right and let those fascial tissues release a little bit. You're gonna walk forward, change the cross. We'll take right foot into the arch of the left and sit back. Oh, this is really interesting today. Right foot felt great. Left foot's a little touchier today. So I'm finding myself kind of flinching here. It might be helpful for me to lean a little forward so I can relax my feet. So now I'm finding an appropriate level of intensity in my left foot. I can start to welcome a little more opening. Maybe I can settle back, and now I can relax my weight down into my feet, and I can really receive this release in my left foot. Beautiful. From here, let's walk our way forward. Find your way to hands and knees, and one leg at a time, you can tuck your toes, reach out through your heel. All right, making our way back to all fours. Let's inhale and take left toes back. Take right hand forward. Take a moment here and then lift your left foot until your left foot is at about the height of your left hip. Lovely. Reach out on that diagonal. Get really long. And then as you exhale, you'll hug your belly in. See if you can bring left knee to right elbow. And inhale to reach. We'll exhale, hug in, left knee to right elbow. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hug in. Inhale to reach. Pause here. And we'll take the right arm out to the side. Take external rotation in your left hip so your toes point out to the side. We'll hug belly up and in and try to swing a left foot forward in line with left hip and hold here. As you inhale, left foot reaches back, right hand reaches forward. You can exhale back to hands and knees. And let's take some circles here. You can circle your hips around one direction. And circle your hips around the other way. We'll come back to the center. This time we'll root down through your right hand. Take your right foot back behind you. Take your left hand forward. And then lift. So I'm going to use a little assist here. But you'll be on your right hand. We'll reach out on this diagonal. Then as you exhale, hug in. knee to elbow. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hug in, knee to elbow. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hug in, knee to elbow. Inhale to reach. We'll take a left hand out to the side, palm down. A little external rotation in the right hip. Lots of strength in the core. Sweep your right foot forward, up in line with your right hip if you can. You can inhale, take your right foot back, take your left hand forward. We'll exhale, hand and knee back to the floor. And once more, find some circles. Big circles one way, big circles the other. And then eventually, let's find our way to a wide-footed Cobra pose. So you can take your feet to about the width of your mat. And I'm going to use my elbows to support myself. But you can feel free to extend your arms and float your elbows. So you might even come up into a Cobra, lift it a little bit higher. I'm going to stay here in the Sphinx. You can draw your shoulders back, draw the base of your skull back. Let's try one more breath here. When you exhale, you can lower hands next to your ribs. Inhale to help yourself up to hands and knees. And exhale back to downward facing dog. You'll find your downward dog and give yourself a couple of breaths to fine tune. You can check in with the placement of your feet. You want your feet about the width of your hips and the midlines of your feet parallel to each other. You can check in with the placement of your hands, fingers nicely spread, hands about the width of your shoulders. You can check in with any tension going on in your neck and upper back. Let your shoulder blades slide away from each other. Wrap the outer edge of your shoulder blade firmly to the outside of your rib cage. Press into the bases of your fingers as you extend your hands forward and your hips up and back. Yeah, that was gorgeous. It was so fun to watch everybody get taller in your down dog. And then maybe lighten up off your breastbone a little bit. So sometimes in this pose, we get really keen on pressing chest back towards thighs, and we kind of cheat ourselves out of that lengthening, telescoping of the spine. So invite a little lightness into your breastbone and a little space across your collarbones. Invite a little length into the back of your neck, and then see if your sitting bones can get any little bit higher as your heels get any little bit heavier. Yeah, one more breath in your down dog. And from here, you can move your feet forward towards your hands. And since we're kind of working with our feet today, let's roll heel to toe to walk forward. So slow stroll, just maybe a foot length at a time as you walk your feet forward to your standing forward fold. When you find your standing forward fold, place your feet about the width of your hips. Let's bend our knees a little bit. And let's track what's going on in the alignment of feet and ankles and knees and hips. So sometimes, depending on where you hold tension in your body and the orientation of your joints, you may find that you're rolling a little extra weight into the outer edge of your foot in this pose. That's my tendency. So I need to concentrate on pressing into my big toe, grounding into the center of my heel, and lifting a little on the outer side of my foot. So outer arch needs to lift to outer ankle, and it lifts to outer knee, and it lifts to outer thigh bone. My thigh bones are widening away from each other. My feet are widening away from each other. And this will bring me into an alignment in my feet. If you are the opposite, some people will find that your inner ankles and arches tend to collapse towards each other. So if this is your tendency, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to ground big toe, little toe, center of heel, but lift from inner arch, through inner ankle, through inner knee, through sitting bones. So evening out the weight in your feet, and now start to lengthen your legs, and that might be a straightening of your knees, but that's almost incidental. Think about maybe lifting sitting bones and lengthening the back of your leg, and lifting kneecaps and firming quads. And that might straighten your legs, and it might not come all the way straight. That's okay too. We'll take one more breath in Uttanasana. When you inhale, you'll bend your knees, come all the way up to standing. Let's reach our arms up overhead, palms facing each other. Find a gaze point out in front of you. Ground down through the balls of your feet. Let your heels get light and see if you can balance. Beautiful. You'll exhale, float your heels back down, dive all the way to Uttanasana. And lift to Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. You can plant your hands, take your feet back and lower. Maybe you come to your belly. Maybe you come to your knees. Maybe you're ready for chaturanga. Beautiful. Inhaling through upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Find your downward facing dog. You'll inhale and lift your right foot up and off the floor. So starting here, you can stack your right hip over your left, bend your knee, maybe bicycle your leg or draw circles with your hip. Point and flex your toes. Nice. You can return your right foot back down to the mat. Let's lift the left, same thing. Lift your left foot, start with the hip square. You can bend your knee, stack left hip over the right, maybe circle your ankle, maybe bicycle your leg, maybe big circles in your left hip one way and then the other. Lovely. You can set your left foot back down. Let's take a full inhalation. Complete exhalation. Bend your knees, look forward, and move your feet to your hands. It could be walking or stepping or floating. Half forward fold. Full forward fold as you exhale, checking in with the placement and alignment of your feet. Inhale and rise. Float your heels as you reach up. Let's exhale, float our heels down, float our arms down, dive forward, Uttanasana. You can inhale and lift halfway up. Plant your hands, step or float back through your vinyasa, back to chaturanga. Nice. And upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. So this time, you'll step your left foot a little forward and a little towards the midline. When you take your right foot off the floor, float it up. Ground through your right hand and see if you can take your left hand off the floor at the same time as you lift your right foot. That's the one. Fantastic. Stay with it. Stay with the breath. Beautiful. You can set hand and foot back down. Take a moment to reestablish your equilibrium. And then try the other side. So we'll take right foot a little forward, a little towards the midline. We'll lift the left foot. We'll lift the right hand. You can exhale, hand and foot back down to the mat. Let's take a breath here. Bend your knees, look forward, feet will move to your hands, finding a half forward fold, finding a full forward fold. You can inhale and rise, lifting your heels at the end of the in-breath and balance. Exhale, float your heels down, dive forward, Uttanasana. You'll inhale and lift halfway up. Plant your hands, step or float. You're headed through Vinyasa, chaturanga, an upward dog, and a downward dog. All right, setting up for that hand-foot balance once more. So you can take left foot a little forward, a little towards the midline. You'll ground down through left foot, ground down through right hand, lift right foot, lift left hand. Maybe you can bend your knee, reach back, and try to grab your right heel with your left hand. So I can almost do this, I just can't put weight in my right hand. So imagine I'm in down dog. We're headed there. Yeah. Try one more breath. That's it. Inhale, you can release, hand and foot back to the mat. And now we step the right foot a little forward, a little to the midline. We're balancing on right foot and left hand. Left foot and right hand lift. Try bending your knee, reaching back. See if you can grab your left heel with your right hand. Awesome. Try one more breath. Let it go. You can release your hand and foot back to the mat. You'll bend your knees, look forward. We'll move feet to hands. Inhaling, half forward fold. Exhaling, full forward fold. Inhale, you'll rise all the way up. Float your heels. Moving to balancing chair. So you can bring your hands out in front of you, palms down. You'll plug in from fingertips to shoulders. Bend your knees. Keep your heels lifted. Nice. You can float your heels down now. Check in. Since we've got our feet the width of our hips, we want knees to be the same width as our feet. So feet, knees, hips, all the same width. You can reach up. Let's take one more breath. Exhale and fold. We're headed to Uttanasana. You can inhale and halfway lift. You'll exhale, flow it through your vinyasa. Nice. Upward dog on the in-breath. Downward dog on the out-breath. Your inhalation can lift your right foot. We can twist hips, bend knee. Nice opening in the front of the right hip. And as you exhale, square, step your right foot forward, knee into your chest, foot between your hands. Let's reach through the left heel and pick this up for a high lunge. You can reach through your left heel, lift through your left thigh, hug the inner thighs in, hug the belly in. Maybe slide your right thigh a little farther forward. Taking one more breath here. As you exhale, pivot your left heel down to the mat. We'll open arms out to warrior two. Nice. So check in with what just happened in your right knee. Often when we make that transition, we do it a lot. We transition from high lunge to second warrior, and our hips drag our front knee width. So it's really important to pull this knee to the little toe side, really work the external rotation in the front thigh, the internal rotation in the back. Let's reverse the warrior, sliding left hand down your left leg. And then exhale, reach forward, balance on your left toe. See if you can rock into your right foot and take it to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Ooh, I apparently can't do Ardha Chandrasana today, but maybe you guys can. Nice. Beautiful. Try one more breath. When you exhale, step it back. We'll inhale back to high lunge. Exhale, flow through vinyasa. Back to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. And when you're ready, you'll inhale and lift your left foot. Straight up and back at first. And then stacking hips, you can bend your knee, get a nice big stretch in the front of your left hip. You'll exhale, square, hug your belly in, shift forward. Let's take left foot between our hands, reaching through right heel. We've got our high lunge. Beautiful, drawing this right thigh or left thigh parallel to the floor. Lifting the right thigh as you exhale, second warrior. Check this knee. Keep drawing it to the little toe side of your foot as you open out. And we can inhale to reverse the warrior. Let's inhale back to warrior two. You can get light on your right heel. Start to rock into your left foot. Left hand reaches forward. And with the left hand, about maybe 12 or 18 inches in front of into the little toe side of left foot as you float the right. As you reach your right arm up, maybe you look up. Beautiful. You can exhale, step it back, second warrior. Inhale, back to your high lunge. Exhale, flow through the vinyasa. So we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take a big inhalation here. Take a big exhalation, bend your knees, look forward, feet move to your hands. Half forward fold, full forward fold on the exhalation. Inhale, rise all the way to standing, float your heels, find the balance. Bend your knees, balancing chair. You can let your heels drop down, reach your arms up, Bakasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. You'll inhale and lift halfway up. Exhale through vinyasa, chaturanga, and upward dog, and downward dog. You can inhale to lift your right foot, stack your hips, bend your knee, and there's an opportunity for wild thing here if you want to take it. You can pivot on the left hand and foot, step over, and find the back bend. Nice. If you flipped into the wild thing, flip it back. We'll take one more breath. And as you exhale, shift forward, right knee into your chest, right foot between your hands. Let's inhale. We'll lift to the high lunge. Exhale to second warrior. Inhale to reverse the warrior. Exhale, we're headed back to half moon. So getting light in your left foot, grounding your right. Here, maybe you bend your left leg, reach back, grab your ankle. Maybe you press your foot into your hand and find the back bend. Beautiful. All right, if you've got a hold of your foot, let it go. We'll inhale, extend. Exhale, step it back, second warrior. Inhale, finding your high lunge. Exhale, flow through vinyasa. Meet back in downward facing dog. Your next inhalation will lift your left foot. And you can bend your knees, stack your hips, maybe step all the way over into the wild thing. Yeah. If you flipped into the wild thing, flip it back over, three-legged down dog. And hug your knee into your chest. Find your high lunge, left foot forward, reaching through your right heel, we'll lift. And we'll exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, transitioning to half moon. We'll rock onto the left foot, left hand coming forward and to the little toe side. Right hand and foot lift, maybe you bend your knee. Maybe you grab your ankle, you can press your foot into your hand, draw the bow, find the back bend. As you inhale, you can release your foot. As you exhale, step it back, warrior two. We'll inhale to high lunge and exhale, flow through the vinyasa. Also know that you can skip chaturanga and vinyasa at any point. I've been told that since I broke my arm, I'm making everybody do more vinyasas than I did in the past when I had to do them with you. So you're welcome to skip what you want. You're welcome to do more if you wish. We'll take one more breath in down dog. You can bend your knees, look forward, and move your feet to your hands. You can find a half forward fold, find a full forward fold. We'll inhale, reach all the way up, float your heels. Exhale, balancing chair. All right, you're on your own for this one, but maybe you want to take this to Bakasana. So from your balancing chair, you can take your hips back, heart forward, hips back, heart forward. Knees can find the upper arm, outer shoulder. Hands in place to the floor. You can lift your hips, rock forward, and maybe do a hand balance here. Oh, yeah. Lovely. All right, and if you have a jump back from your Bakasana, you are welcome to take your vinyasa right from here. You can float your feet back, chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. Gorgeous. That was awesome, you guys. You can inhale, lift your right foot. Stack your hips, bend your knee, flip it over if you want another back bend. Nice. If you flipped it into a wild thing, you'll flip it back. Last high lunge sequence, we'll hug our right knee to chest. Step your right foot forward, reach through your left heel. Inhale, lift it up. High lunge. Exhale. Second warrior. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, let's take it to half moon. Beautiful. From your half moon, switch hands. So you can bring your left hand down to the floor. We'll try to square our hips and take the right hand up. Revolved half moon. From here, we'll bend right knee a little bit. You can step your left foot back, pick it up to a revolved high lunge. We'll inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor, flow through Vinyasa. Nice work. Leaning back in downward facing dog. Last high lunge series on the left. You can inhale, lift your left foot. Stack your hips, bend your knee, flip it right over into wild thing if that sounds fun. Nice. From your wild thing, you're flipping it back over, three-legged down dog. And step your left foot forward, left foot between your hands. You'll inhale, pick it up to your high lunge. Nice. Take it to second warrior. We'll reverse the warrior. And shift to half moon, rocking up onto your left foot, left hand to the floor. And we'll switch hands in half moon. So right hand reaches down, square your hips, twist left, left arm reaches up, revolve half moon. Try one more breath here. You can bend your left knee, step it back, inhale, revolve to high lunge, unwind to high lunge, exhale through Vinyasa. Reset in your downward dog. Take 3 slow, steady breaths here. Maybe you can even return to our opening pranayama where we break the breath into 3 parts and completely fill from bottom to top, completely empty from top to bottom. Beautiful. At the end of your next exhalation, you'll bend your knees, look forward, feet move to hands, half forward fold, full forward fold as you exhale. Let's inhale, rise, and exhale, release your hands down by your sides. So here, let's bend our knees a little bit. We can shift weight into the left foot. And we'll end up picking up our right foot. You have a couple of options. Option 1 would be just to pick up your right foot, kind of hang onto the back of your knee and start to reach out through your heel, getting the stretch here. Option 2 would be to reach down and try to grab your big toe with your right index finger and middle finger, and then start to straighten. Option 3 is to kick it up with a straight leg and catch your toe. Nice. Let's see if you can drop your right hip down a little bit. You're pulling in from right palm to right shoulder. Okay, let's take this leg out to the side. So we'll take external rotation. Woo! Take your foot out to the side. If you like, you can turn your gaze over your left shoulder. You can counterbalance with the opposite hand. Amazing. Let's bring it back to center and switch hands. We'll see how I go with this one. We're going to try to reach out. Grab the big toe or the outer edge of your foot with the opposite hand and twist right. Inhale, come back to the center. In control, float your right foot back down. Other side. So knees can be a little bent. Center of gravity shifts over your right foot. We'll pick up the left. Again, 3 options. You can hang onto the back of your thigh and then start to straighten the leg. You could hook your big toe and start to straighten the leg. You could kick it up and try to grab the straight leg. All right, from here, we take external rotation in the left hip. Left foot comes out to the side. Maybe your gaze turns right. Maybe your right arm extends as a counterbalance. We'll inhale back to center, switch hands, and twist. Extra challenging to turn your gaze at the same time. You can inhale, come back to the center, release your foot, in control, stand back on both feet. Let's inhale, reach arms up overhead. You're going to float your heels. Exhale, balancing chair. Keep deepening your squat. Knees just at the top of your upper arms, outsides of your shoulders. Hug in, hands to the floor, rock forward, try your Bakasana. Yeah. And if you've got to jump back from Bakasana, go for it. You can float your feet back through Chaturanga, nice control. Upward dog on the in-breath. Downward dog on the out-breath. Inhale forward to your hands and knees. Exhale, sit it back for 3 breaths in child's pose. Your knees can be wide. Your knees can be together. Your arms can be out in front of you. Your hands can be back behind you. Find the child's pose that feels the most nourishing for you. We'll slow our breath down. So from here, let's walk our hands out in front. We'll take our elbows to the floor, just a little closer together than shoulders. You can either press your palms one into the other in Anjali Mudra, or you can interlace your fingers here, personal choice. We'll take a moment to broaden across our shoulders, press into the elbows, press into the little finger side of your wrist, and then tuck your toes, lift your knees. We're headed to dolphin pose. Keep pressing into the floor with what's on the floor. Maybe you start to walk your feet in a little closer to your elbows. If you feel so inclined, you could try reaching one foot up and off the floor for a few breaths. Nice, and then maybe take the other foot up for a few breaths. So you can switch legs. And eventually you'll let both feet touch back down to the floor. Take a big inhalation. As you exhale, walk your feet back, and again, settle into your child's pose. Get as comfortable as you can. Finally, from your child's pose, you can take your hands under your shoulders. Walk yourself back to sit on your heels. And let's find a little external rotation in the right shoulder. So point your fingers out to the side. Take your right shoulder back slightly. You can press your right fingertips down into the floor and then tip your left ear towards your left shoulder. This might be enough stretch. It's already feeling like a pretty good stretch for the front of my shoulder and the right side of my neck. But you can also add a little more by taking the weight of your left hand to rest just behind your right ear. We can release this side and switch. You'll take your left hand down. We're in external rotation, reaching fingertips for the floor. Front of that shoulder is drawing back. You can tip right ear towards right shoulder. The weight of your head might be enough. If you want a little more, you can add the weight of your right hand, just gently lengthening the left side of your neck a little more. You can inhale and lift. Let's exhale now, chin down towards chest. And this might be enough, or you might want to rock your head gently side to side. Finally, we'll bring our head back to the center. Inhale to lift. Interlace your fingers now around the back of your head and the base of your skull. And you can use your arms to help lengthen your neck. Maybe reach your elbows up, support your head as you find some length in the back of your neck. We'll inhale, return to neutral position. You can release your arms. We'll shift hips to one side, take feet out in front. And we'll roll that onto our backs, coming into what we would call a hollow body shape. You're going to hug your belly in, roll down. We're going to reach hands forward, lifting to this kind of hollow body shape. Now, when you exhale, crunch. When you inhale, back to hollow body. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale, hollow body. Keep going. Woo. Little balance involved here too. See if you can do 3 more. We'll lower feet to the floor, head and shoulders to the floor. Walk your feet wide. You can lean your knees in towards each other. We'll take a couple of deep belly breaths. And we can walk our feet together. Let knees drop out to the side. And again, take 3 deep belly breaths. And finally, you can reach down with your hands, find the outsides of your knees or thighs, and encourage your legs to draw back towards each other, knees pointing up to the ceiling. Hug your belly in. Really hug your belly in, flatten your lower ribs, draw your navel to your spine, pick your feet up, and then take the soles of your feet together and knees out to the side. And we'll lift head and shoulders by hugging lower front ribs in. So as you exhale, reach through. As you inhale, release. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Keep going. You can do 3 more. And you can exhale, head and shoulders to the floor. Release your feet to the floor. Once more, feet wide, knees together. Take a few breaths. Once more, knees wide, feet together. Take a few breaths. You can inhale, bring your knees back to the center. We'll pick our feet up. This time, shins parallel to the floor, thigh bones perpendicular to the floor. Hugging belly in, and navel pulling to spine. Hugging front ribs in, low back and middle back press down into the mat. You can take your hands gently behind your head, but make sure you're lifting by dropping your lower ribs, not by pulling with your hands. Yogi bicycles. So now when you exhale, right leg will come out and hover parallel to the floor. Right arm reaches past your left thigh. And you'll inhale back to center. And then the left leg comes out and hovers. Left arm reaches past your right thigh. So inhale back to center. Exhale, right hand reaches past the left leg. Inhale, center. Exhale, left hand reaches past the right. Keep going. See if you can do 3 more like this. 3 more on each side. We'll inhale back to center. Exhale, head and shoulders back to the floor. Release your feet. You can take your feet out wide, take your arms out wide, and then drop both knees towards the floor on the right side of your mat. You can turn your head left. Left hip will lift. Just let it go. It might feel really good just to be here. Let gravity take your legs. If you want a little more twist, a little more leverage, you can put your right foot on the outside of your left knee. Just be mindful of how your left medial knee feels. The inside of your left knee can get a little overstretched here if you're not careful. And you can uncross the right ankle from outside of left knee. Inhale to point your knees back up to the ceiling. And exhale, both knees over to the left. You can turn your head to the right. Right hip will lift. Gravity takes your legs. Release into the support of gravity as much as you can. And maybe you pick up your left foot. Outer edge of left foot could come to the outside of right knee if that feels appropriate and helpful to you. this does not feel okay in your right knee, you can leave your left foot on the floor. Finally, you can uncross left ankle from outside of right knee. Inhale to point your knees back up to the ceiling. Let's walk our feet in, hip width apart. Hands can come down by your sides. Maybe you even kind of tuck your shoulder blades underneath a little bit. Walk your shoulders up towards your ears a little bit. Lifting into bridge pose. And often when we come into bridge, we end up like tucking our tail and scooping it up towards the ceiling. This time as we come into bridge, I want to encourage you to keep length in your belly and depth in your hip creases. So let's see if we can come up into bridge with a little bit of a curve in our lumbar spine. You might even take your hand underneath your back and feel that there's a little curve there. And then we'll press into our feet. Use our hamstrings to lift ourselves up, pulling with your heels as you lift your hips, maintaining this lumbar curve. Then we got a little more space in the front of the hips. We've got this lovely curve in the lumbar. Got a soft rise and fall of the belly, maybe even stretching out some of those muscles we worked in our core. You could rock from shoulder to shoulder, walk your arms together. You could interlace fingers behind your back if that's available. You can even lift your heels, tuck your hands underneath your sacrum, and come into a supported bridge that way. One more breath in Supta Bandhasana. As you exhale, float your hips down. We're going to try to come down with a neutral spine too. So often we roll down one vertebra at a time. This time, let's see if we can hinge down. Just drop sacrum towards the floor. Neutral spine as you come down. And then you can pick up your feet. Rock your knees in and out or side to side. Take a happy baby pose. Take any other movement that would complete your practice. And when you feel satisfied, find a position in which to rest. You can extend your legs, extend your arms. Settle into your Shavasana, whatever that means. And now we can let go of the control of our breath and just watch it. Watching the flow of inhalation and exhalation. Being interested in the natural pauses that develop. Maybe delving into the natural pauses that develop, listening into that silence. Letting your breath get a little slower and a little more subtle. And let the pauses get more and more interesting as your attention turns inward. We allow ourselves these few moments, we commit to these few moments to really integrate all of the benefits, all of the changes we've made in this practice. This is where it all takes effect. Finally, disturbing your relaxation as little as possible. Begin to deepen your breath. Full inhalations, complete exhalations, the breath reawakening, the prana that animates your body reawakening. And eventually a desire to move reawakening. When you feel that desire to move, honor it. You can wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, start to move hands and feet, start to move arms and legs, gradually coming back to life. And eventually those movements will carry you to one side. You can rest on your side for a few breaths. And when you're ready to rise to sitting, use the strength of your arms. Help yourself up and settle back into a comfortable seat. One last opportunity in your practice to notice what you feel and how you feel. Maybe noticing if anything has changed since the beginning of your practice. And finally, you can turn your palms out to the side. You'll inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down the midline of your body to your heart, settling them into Anjali Mudra, gesture of greeting and of respect and of gratitude. We'll close with the sound of Om. You are welcome to join me if you wish. You are welcome to sit and listen if you prefer. If you'd like to join from wherever you are, we'll inhale together and begin. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice this afternoon. Have a marvelous rest of your day. Namaste.